The curtain we refuse to stand behind. There is a simple question that reveals something unsettling about the human mind. Not a question about politics, not a question about ideology, a question about luck. Imagine just for a moment that you were asked to help design the rules of a society, the laws, the institutions, the economic structure, the protections and the freedoms. But before the discussion begins, a curtain is lowered. Behind this curtain, something unusual happens. You are stripped of certain knowledge. You do not know whether you will be rich or poor. You do not know whether you will be healthy or ill. You do not know whether you will be talented, average, or struggling. You do not know whether you will belong to the majority or to a small and vulnerable minority. You know only one thing. When the curtain lifts, you will be born somewhere inside the system you helped design. This curtain is what the philosopher John Rawls called the veil of ignorance. It is not a prediction about human behavior. It is a mirror held up to the idea of fairness. Because once you imagine yourself behind that curtain, the conversation changes. People stop asking, "What system benefits me?" and begin asking something quieter and far more difficult. What system would I accept if I might end up anywhere inside it? The discomfort of the thought experiment. At first glance, the idea seems almost naive. After all, real human beings never make decisions like this. We know exactly who we are. We know our advantages. We know our fears. We know the positions we occupy in the social hierarchy. And so the most immediate criticism arises. Why should fairness be determined under unrealistic conditions? If the starting point is artificial, the conclusion might simply be hidden inside the premise. Critics of Rawls pointed out that the veil quietly assumes something about human psychology. Behind the curtain, people are likely to become cautious. They might imagine the possibility of ending up among the least advantaged. And so they design rules that protect the bottom of the system. But this is not the only possible mindset. A different person behind the curtain might think, perhaps I will be talented. Perhaps I will thrive. Perhaps a system that rewards excellence and risk will create more opportunity for everyone. The veil does not eliminate values. It merely rearranges them. A rival view of justice. This tension becomes clearer when contrasted with another philosopher, Robert Nozick. Nozick believed Rawls was asking the wrong question. Rawls asks, what kind of society would people design if they did not know their place within it? Nozick asks something entirely different. How did the distribution of wealth and power actually come about? If property was acquired legitimately, through voluntary exchange, lawful transfer, and individual effort, then the resulting inequality may be morally acceptable. Justice, in this view, lies not in patterns of outcomes, but in the fairness of the process. A perfectly fair game can produce very unequal scores. And that, Nozick argued, is not necessarily unjust. What the veil really reveals. So the veil of ignorance is not a realistic model of politics. It is something subtler. It is a diagnostic tool for self-deception. Human beings have a remarkable ability to interpret systems as fair when those systems happen to favor them. The wealthy often believe success is entirely merit. The fortunate often assume their advantages are normal. The powerful often interpret their position as deserved. The veil interrupts this story. It asks us to imagine the possibility that much of what we call merit might also contain an invisible ingredient. Luck. Luck in birthplace. Luck in health. Luck in family. Luck in talent. Luck in timing. Remove those certainties from the conversation, and the definition of fairness begins to shift. The hidden logic beneath the veil. Seen from another angle, the veil resembles something very familiar. Insurance. When people buy insurance, they are acknowledging a simple truth. I might be the unlucky one. Insurance spreads risk across a population because the future position of any individual is uncertain. In this sense, Rawls's thought experiment is not merely philosophical. It is an attempt to imagine society itself as a system that manages the risks of human fortune. Not by eliminating inequality, but by ensuring that the worst outcomes remain livable. The question that remains. The veil of ignorance does not prove what justice is. It does something more modest. It asks a question that is uncomfortable precisely because it is difficult to answer honestly. A question that bypasses ideology and speaks directly to conscience. Would you still defend the rules of your society if you had no idea who you were going to be within it? Most people never truly stand behind that curtain. But the moment we imagine doing so, something shifts. We begin to see that fairness is not merely about the outcomes we experience. It is about the rules we would accept before luck reveals its hand.